I'm gonna regret this decision, aren't I? Here's hoping I don't regret this decision. Hey guys, what is up? I am bored, and just like everyone else on the internet, I am going to shit talk other people for no. Hey guys, what is up? I am bored, and for the longest time I've wanted to review this video. It was brought to my attention by I think one or two people, like a couple people, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch this, because what's the point of watching something that you don't enjoy? I don't tend to watch things that I don't like. Shock, spoiler, horror, whatever the kids say these days. But I don't know, the video has just been ruminating in my mind for the longest time, and I don't know why. I just never forgot about it. It was just always there, just marinating like a disease. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna talk about it. Here's hoping it doesn't go as badly as the last time somebody asked me to talk about something in the Steven Universe community. Oh my god. But before we get into anything, I would just like to preface at the start of the video, I hold nothing, not a single thing against any of the people in this video. I have nothing against the Roundtable. I have nothing against Veridids Joe. I actually love his videos. I remember I found out about his channel maybe beginning last year, ending maybe 2019, but I loved his channel. I binged watched all his content. I supported him to the best of my abilities. I love his style of videos. I just fell out of love with it like maybe a few months ago. I just stopped watching it. YouTube stopped recommending it to me, and I guess I just forgot about him. But as a creator, much love, much respect. The Roundtable, much love, much respect. I may disagree with opinions and things they say, but them as people, I have nothing against them. Anything that might be said in this video is all for shits and giggles. I hold no malice towards these individuals. I am just here to entertain you who are watching. If anything I have said has upset anybody, I apologize in advance, especially to the people that I'm about to talk about, because I personally have feelings and I wouldn't want someone to hurt them. So I hope I don't hurt the feelings of the people I'm about to talk about. Are we clear? Are we good? We good. Thank you. Again, this is all just fun and jokes. It's not serious. So just sit back, relax, and let's see what they have to say. Hating Steven Universe on a Friday night? God, you're pathetic. Excuse you. I don't hate Steven Universe on a Friday night. I hate it every night. So, joke's on you. Steven Universe isn't bad. You guys are just dumb. Now, that's a very straightforward title. I would contest to that, but I've also used that kind of title structure with my Velma Isn't a Lesbian series. And it kind of doesn't work, because there are some people who just get viscerally angry when they see things like that, and they don't think beyond that. So, in this case, Steven Universe isn't bad. Yes, it's not bad, but it's not as good as it should be, or is not as good as people believe it is. It was good. It's no longer as good. If we can agree on that, I'm okay with this title. You guys are just dumb. Again, an opinion. I think people who don't like Teen Titans Go are idiots who can't let go of their childhood and enjoy something new, but that's on them. I'm enjoying the show either way. They think I'm stupid for enjoying it, so opinions all around. So, you guys have to forgive my internet quality, because shit doesn't load as quickly as I want it to. Hey, look at me. I'm here. I'm here. There's me just peeking out above the video. So, let's see. I might not be able to watch all of this in full, because 56 minutes. Who the hell do you think you are? Lily Orchid? Or Cartoonshi? How dare you? Jokes, jokes. Literally just jokes.
You may have gotten us this time, but we'll be out there. Hating you! Forever!
I just wanted to let y'all know before watching.
Okay. I don't want to watch the whole thing in like just one fell swoop, because I could get copyright claimed. I need to actually make it for you, so I'm gonna pause a lot of the time. So maybe if you want to follow along with me, you can watch the video and come back, or you can just watch it with me, either way. But I just like that little nod, like they're attributing the fans to Ruby and Aquamarine, like we'll be out there hating you. And did the show actually do that as a reference to the haters of the show? I don't know why I don't like it, but that was actually really clever. Oh my god, you bastards. I don't know who to congratulate, the Crooniverse or these two idiots. I think there's something in my room. I hope I don't die. Okay,
Watching this video that if the shoe doesn't fit, I just wanted to let y'all know before watching this video that if the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. My goal is not to antagonize or generalize people out there who don't care for or dislike Steven Universe for reasons that aren't stated in this video. If what I'm saying does not directly apply to you, then I am not talking about you. Honestly,
wait. My literally my ears just glossed over. Like I just stopped listening. Attention span of a goldfish. I am so sorry. Wait. What did he say?
Who don't wear it. My goal
If the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. So
shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it.
If
my goal is not to
if you don't apply to the situation, don't feel like it does to you. So unless you know you're part of this demographic, this has nothing to do with you. Okay, Mr. Vox. I get that.
antagonize or generalize people out there
Okay.
who don't care for or dislike Steven Universe for reasons that aren't stated in this video. If what I'm saying is not Steven Universe
That doesn't sit right with me. Wait.
Organize or generalize people out there who don't care for or dislike Steven Universe for reasons that aren't stated in this video.
Who don't care for Steven Universe for reasons that aren't stated in this video. So long as those reasons are not stated in this video, it does not apply to them. But if it was, it would. And it did. Wait. Let's continue.
If what I'm saying does not directly apply to you, then I am not talking about you.
Okay.
Honestly, I made this video for the Steven Universe fans who are still active and still have to deal with the dumb mob mentality that plagues discussion around the show.
That's technically me. I'm still kind of active in the fandom, but I don't know. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I just exist. But am I plagued by mob mentality? Am I a sheeple? God, I remember that theory. No, steeple. Who remembers that fucking theory? The sneeple. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. This fandom has cringe history now.
That being said, to deal with the dumb mob mentality that plagues discussion around the show. And still have to deal with the dumb mob mentality that plagues discussion around the show.
Dumb mob mentality that still plagues discussion about the show. The only ones I can think of are like the critiques people have of the show not being a model, or like character development. There's one like the Cal art style. Like those are the only things that I know. Okay, there's a mob mentality about it.
That being said, this video demanded a lot of energy to make, and once it's up, I'm not putting any more energy into it.
We can see you put a lot of energy into it, literally. But you put so much work into it, but then you're like, okay, after I'm done with this, no more. What? What?
I've dedicated a lot of time to the show, and aside from videos here and there in the future, I'm not trying to dedicate any more for a while. So
Well, that's not me. I still have a lot of things about Steven Universe I'd like to talk about, but you guys definitely talked about more Steven Universe stuff than I could ever hope to.
Trying to start a debate or anything, we'll just be talking into an while. So trying to start a debate or anything, we'll just be talking into an empty void. Enjoy the show!
Not really. That's like saying because the show ended, there's no reason to make any more videos about it because you're talking into an empty void. Avatar ended like a decade ago, and videos about it are still getting hella views. I think there's a channel dedicated to like Total Drama Island and everything about it, and that channel still gets a lot of views, and Total Drama ended while I was still in college, I think, like 2015, 2016. So if that's the point he's trying to make, it's kind of mute, saying, oh, there's no point having a discussion about this because you're talking into the void. There's still people who actively discuss with you about it. Winx is also a fandom that is very much alive. I was surprised when my Winx video got traction. I was like, hello? People are still here?
Steven Universe has become one of the most controversial shows on the internet over the last few years.
Don't give it too much credit. Controversial? No. Discussed about? Argued? Here's the thing. A lot of the shit going on within Steven Universe stays within Steven Universe. Doesn't bleed out onto the internet. Unlike other shows with far-reaching repercussions, I feel like if there was any fandom that had like more divisive fights within the fandom, it's like My Little Pony. Even though I wasn't that much into the fandom, that shit was a thing.
And Universe has become one of the most controversial shows on the internet over the last few years. And I
really don't agree with that statement. Like, Teen Titans Go was a lot more controversial. Pop-Up Girls was a lot more controversial. The reboot. My brain is trying to think of things, but I think I've suppressed the memory so much that it doesn't want to come to mind. But controversial and Steven Universe doesn't really feel right. Like, a lot of the controversies and fights happen within the fandom. It's maybe a YouTuber made a video, aka Lily Orchard, and the fandom reacts. Or Cartoon She makes a video, the fandom reacts. So controversy is a very strong word to put to a show about gay space rocks. When I think of controversy, you think of YouTuber controversies where somebody got exposed or something bad happened. I don't want to bring up names right now because like every other week there's a new YouTuber who gets into some shit. So that's what you think of when you think of controversy. Not this.
honestly can't understand why. It's homophobia, but it's not just...
That went from 0 to 100 really quick. I also can't understand why, but it's homophobia, but it's not just homophobia.
And I honestly can't understand why. It's homophobia, but it's not just that. This isn't going to be some crystal clear fun time theory. Why? It's homophobia, but it's not just that.
Wait. Oh boy.
This isn't going to honestly
it's gonna take me a while to pause correctly to get that image. It's
not just that.
It's a pretty big reason though. Okay.
This isn't going to be some crystal clear fun time theory BS. As someone who spent years engrossed in the show and singing its praises, I have my own gripes with the series. But some people get cartoonishly angry at the
Was that a cartoony joke?
side of the show.
Can you not see this abomination sitting right in front of you?
What are you talking about?
Now, before you say, yeah, well, it's just an opinion. Yeah, well, this is just mine. We let the lolly profile pics speak their piece.
Huh?
And now I'm stepping into the ring.
What? Homophobia is not an opinion. Let's just state that. You can choose not to interact with gay people, but that still doesn't change the fact that you're a piece of shit. But is it just me, or does Vox, is he trying to sound edgy? Like a tough guy? Like, I'm gonna beat your ass kind of. That's the vibe I'm getting. Like, you don't need to overdo it to get your point across. And that's coming from me, of all people. God, I'm a hypocrite.
Broader online conversation has gotten especially toxic since Future wrapped up last March.
Wait, what's her name again? I swear I forgot her name. Oh my god, I forgot her name. Wait. Jasper! Wow. I was actually afraid. Anyway, Jasper's so cute here.
Toxic. Since Future wrapped, the broader online conversation has gotten especially toxic since Future wrapped up
Has
March.
it though?
And I think that's because while the show has always had a hate-dump forming around it, with no more episodes to look forward to, the core fanbase has mostly moved on, aside from some acknowledgements here and there. Without an extremely active fanbase to drown out terrible takes, the latter has taken over. It's become a trend to dunk on Steven Universe. You see a tweet asking, what's your anime hot take, and you will find at least a handful of Steven Universe bad. I hope I don't bring any crazy fans, even though they don't really give a shit. It's got...
That's just the internet. The internet is full of trolls. There are still people hating on Legend of Korra to this day. This is... What? This is like saying, hey, stop not liking it. Yes, the show has ended. Yes, the core fans have moved on to other shows like the Owl House and Amphibia and Miraculous. Like, so many fandoms have gotten an increase of fans, but thank God the Steven Universe fans kind of went towards the Owl House, not towards Miraculous, because Miraculous fandom, we already have our hands full. But somebody just posted on Twitter, oh, Steven Universe bad. Why do you care? Twitter trolls gonna troll. That's literally their whole MO. That's their thing.
Gotten to the point where I'm pretty sure animation fans leave Steven Universe out of posts giving props to cartoons. Not because they dislike. I'm pretty sure I hope I don't bring any crazy fans even though they don't really give a shit. It's gotten to the point where I'm pretty sure animation fans leave Steven Universe out of posts giving props to cartoons. Not because they dislike it, but because they don't want to deal with an influx of strangers telling them that a show they like is shit. I'll see people getting ratioed just because they have a Steven Universe profile pic. It's shit. I'll see people getting ratioed just because they have a Steven Universe profile pic. It's kinda ridiculous. So
again, that's just the internet. Internet's gonna internet. The Teen Titans Go fandom has faced much more scrutiny for literally no goddamn reason. And what's that other point you made?
Deal with an influx of strangers telling
what if they just leave it out because they realize that it's not as good as they thought it was? Because in my top 10 cartoons of 2020 video, I still mention Steven Universe, even though I have so many gripes with it. I don't care what people think about me or what they would think or what they have to say. Please say it. You're giving me more engagement in the comment section anyway. So yeah, I will not speak on behalf of other reviewers, but I don't think some people would leave something out to not cause engagement, because a lot of platforms reward people for more comments, more engagement. So even if it's Twitter having more quote tweets and everything gets their name out there, Reddit, I assume is the same thing, Facebook, anywhere that has a platform, we are encouraged to, we're almost incentivized to do things and say things and cause problems or whatever that will get people to engage. So if your argument is, hey, people leave Steven Universe out of the conversation because they're afraid of the hate mob, that's you basically saying that person is not like a good faith reviewer, or, oh, they're too afraid, but they're not afraid about these other things. Because here's the thing, almost every fandom right now is toxic in one way or the other. The only fandom I know right now currently that isn't toxic is Amphibia. I want to say Craig of the Creek, but it doesn't really have a fan base. It just has fans who like watching it. So how about we kind of, let's just assume that these creators don't give a shit about Steven Universe, and that is why they didn't add it to their lists. Just a thought, because again, I added it to my list and I have my own opinions on it, so
them that a show they like is shit. I'll see people getting ratioed just because they have a Steven Universe profile pic. It's kinda ridiculous. So today, I wanted to sit down and dissect the bandwagon around hating Steven Universe, the reasons it's become a show people love to hate, and addressing some of the show's actual flaws in the process. It's okay to poke fun at a show. No harm, no foul.
That show's really weird. Who wants to watch a cartoon about people crying?
People make fun of everything popular on the internet. But
exactly.
People treat the show as if it's a violation of human rights.
Again, no. Literally no. I'm tired of bringing up Teen Titans Go.
And as someone who's seen this anti-fandom rise over the years, I recognize why. And it's strange, but fascinating in a way. It's not quite Star Wars levels of discourse, but it's not that far off. It's worth addressing.
He's trying to compare Steven Universe hate to Star Wars hate. Oh my goodness. Here's the thing. I've never watched a Star Wars anything in my life except The Force Awakens. But the vitriolic hatred, the the amount of malice I have seen as somebody completely outside this fandom is insane. People can disown you for your opinions on Star Wars. That's the thing. People are vitriolically passionate about it. You can't say something about it without someone telling you to pick a side. So you cannot, even in your wildest dreams, try to compare Steven Universe hate or like the discord among it, whatever, with what's going on in Star Wars. Because at least somebody who doesn't like Steven Universe and somebody who likes Steven Universe can sit down and civilly have a discussion. I feel like people who like and dislike Star Wars cannot exist in the same room together. A black hole will form.
That this doesn't really apply to people who do enjoy certain aspects of the show. Far off. It's worth addressing that this doesn't really apply to people who do enjoy certain aspects of the show, but are taken aback by other aspects. Some people dislike it because they find it to be wasted potential of its story. Some people dislike it because they think the social commentary is half-hearted or sends the wrong message. While I do believe there are valid criticisms in disliking elements of the show, because, you know, there's actual thought put into those critiques, the ones regurgitated most are either misinformed, are removed from the context of the show, or are just extremely surface level. I find it unfortunate because the people who hate Steven Universe for the dumbest reasons are the ones who latch onto any legitimate criticism.
Because I got manners and shit.
Use it as a for the dumbest reasons are the ones who latch onto any because the people who hate Steven Universe for the dumbest reasons are the ones who latch onto any legitimate criticism, use it as a cover for why they really dislike the show, and exaggerate whatever point was made in an effort to deter people away from the show.
Literally the definition of a troll. They find any reason to hate something, whether it makes sense or not, just to invalidate it. Then why do we even give those people the time of the day? Because their opinions are literally worthless.
And it works. But hey,
no, it doesn't.
If you don't want to take my word for it, why not hear from someone who used to despise the series?
Here's the thing. If somebody already doesn't like a show, nothing you see will convince them otherwise. So if you're saying somebody finds a reason to not like the show, go online and spread misinformation about it, and then somebody sees that and say, oh, I'm not gonna watch the show now. That person was never gonna watch it to begin with. Let's be honest with ourselves.
And now considers it one of their favorite shows. Before I further any of my points, I present one of the boys, Veridids Joe.
My good old
I love that intro.
brother Kevin, Awestrux of the beautiful Roundtable channel, asked me to graciously talk my talk on a Steven Universe video. This Steven Universe video. I know, how cool. Melanin Energy Dual Time Go. You know, a lot of you probably don't notice because a lot of you probably do not know me, but I'm a pretty big fan of Steven Universe. I think it's a pretty neat show with pretty neat characters and a pretty neat environment that everyone also seems to fucking hate for some reason. I won't be able to throw
Not everyone. Well, they did say that this only applies to a certain group of people, so let's continue.
Shade because this is a fun channel, but you've seen those videos. Fucking hate for some reason. I won't be able to throw no shade because this is a fun channel, but you've seen those videos. You know, the notorious videos detailing how this show and the people who made it are evil incarnate and deserve nothing but premium death and destruction for gay space rocks.
Yeah, I can think of some of those videos. They exist. We could always ignore them, but then people argue they're spreading misinformation, they're this, they're that, but there was a whole election that happened in America where one side was spreading misinformation. Allegedly, I don't want to get sued. So if that can happen on the highest level, literally a channel on YouTube spreading whatever they want to say about a cartoon should really not faze anybody. Like, why care? That's my opinion. Why care?
Obviously, a lot of people have said this already, but I have my own words to say too.
Then say them. You have the right to.
Now, personally, I wanted to talk about how I'm pretty... Now, personally, I wanted to talk about how I'm pretty sure that all these people that hate the show don't even hate the shit or literally haven't even seen it. Or kind of just follow what the majority of people they know say. You know, that it's overrated, underwhelming, virtue signaling propaganda, and not like a perfectly fine but far from perfect cartoon for kids with mature themes. Because those
are just people who don't like modern cartoons. Like, they just don't like it, and they will try and find a reason to not like it, and they are not valid, they are stupid, their opinions hold no water, and we should literally stop giving them the time of day. Yes, they are idiots. Yes, they do not deserve attention or recognition, but why make a 1-hour video basically validating their points? Because now they'll feel all important and shit, like, yeah, these people spend so much time making a video about me. I hate those type of people.
If you make videos being positive about Steven Universe, they only do really, really well if the title sounds remotely negative or clickbaity as shit. But I mean, that's just how the YouTube game works. And that's just speaking from experience. I can't even say that I hate people for playing the YouTube game and knowing what gets views. But at the same time, there are these videos where their hyperbolic character and exaggerated criticisms are played 100% completely straight and taken completely seriously. Like,
it's been 5 minutes, and so far I feel like nothing of value has been said. Like, it's just been like, these people do this, these people say that, these people say that. Like, this is coming from the queen of rambling for no reason, but get to the fucking point already. I don't script my videos, so I have that excuse. This was scripted, so get to the point.
Like, one of these vids literally says the show was made by awful people for a garbage fan base. And if you've ever seen some of my past content, you know I have a problem with that specifically. The whole toxic fan base nonsense. Oh, fuck.
A lot of fandoms have toxic fan bases. My Hero Academia, the Owl House recently kind of almost surpassed Steven Universe in being toxic. Voltron, all those shows were toxic. Steven Universe isn't special. Don't kid yourself.
It's very easy to generalize a group of people that you don't know much about, besides the obviously blasted instances from horrible people that happen to be in said fandom. And even then, it's been quite some time since any form of Steven Universe dramas appeared. If anything, the people making the most noise are the ones upset about the show. And I don't just mean now, I mean when Future was running too. It's as if those few isolated instances speak for everyone. But nah, surprisingly, that's not how—
What incidences? Are you talking about the suicide thing? Because yeah, there's only like one. Yeah, that's basically the only one instant that happened in the show that was really bad. But there's also the fans attacking one of the creators of the show till they quit. Fans attacking what's his name? IQ, JQ, Quinn something. Rebecca's boyfriend. I think the show even attacked Rebecca at one point. Sorry, the fans. So if you want to say, hey, just a few instances, people are holding on to them so badly. I remember we did a video with the cast of Aahhh where we were like making fun of people like this, but it's kind of like, yeah, those things were bad, but we shouldn't ignore them. It happened. It's fucked up that it happened. And if we try to say, oh, it happened, get over it, it leaves room for it to happen again, because it's happening again. The Owl House fandom is attacking the creator of the show. I saw it on Twitter with my own 2 eyeballs. So yeah, it happened, but I also agree with the fact that we shouldn't strangle people and say, accept that this happened. But at the same time, like, can we acknowledge something happened without shoving it in people's faces? There's that, but again, they're being so vague here that I have to assume that's what they're talking about, because they're not getting to the point. You can't have a video saying Steven Universe is bad, you guys are dumb, and then at the start of the video you say this isn't crystal clear, I'm not pulling any punches, but then come back and say, oh, we don't want to say this, we don't want to say that, we don't want to say, like, put your balls and dick on the table, or not at all, damn it.
Real life works. Though it's probably real instances speak for everyone. But nah, surprisingly, that's not how real— It's as if those few isolated instances speak for everyone. But nah, surprisingly, that's not how real life works.
Those instances do not speak for everyone, not even in the slightest, because there were people who went after the people that tried to drive that girl to suicide. I even remember one of them made a Tumblr post that the police came after her or something, that fuck, she was on probation or whatever, and I was like, karma. I really love that something bad happened to her when she almost tried to get someone to kill themselves, and they're here like, oh no, woe is me, the girl deserves it, while something bad is happening to you. Like, the irony and the karma was beautiful. And when fans were attacking creators of the show and everything and drove that girl to quit, a lot of outcry came from that. So nobody is saying this applies to everybody or this is what the whole fandom is. People are smart enough to know that there's this and there's that. Those two things do not come together. Hell, there are more positive people than there are negative people. It's just positive people tend to not speak up and make a fuss because they have better things to do with their lives, because the negative people are literally lifeless. They have nothing going on than to be negative, and quite honestly, you guys are feeding into them right now. Like, you're eating off the palms of their hands.
Though it's probably real easy ignoring how things work when you can just instead try to demonize a whole group of people who created a show for years and ignoring for everyone. But nah, surprisingly, that's not how real life works. Though it's probably real easy ignoring the show. And I don't just mean now, I mean when Future was running too. It's as if those few isolated instances speak for everyone. But nah, surprisingly, that's not how real life works. Though it's probably real easy ignoring how things work when you can just instead try to demonize a whole group of people who created a show for years and years and convince people they're literal pieces of human garbage. You know, for making a little cute cartoon about the gay space rocks.
They are literally talking about Lily Orchid here. It's not even funny. Or what's his face? I think the person that made a video on a while back. I can't remember. I can't be bothered to remember. But yeah, I don't agree with that demonizing of the creators of the show, trying to paint them as bad. You might disagree with how they run their show or some creative choices they made, but that's basically it. So I don't know if they're talking about the fans that went after the creators of the show or other YouTubers who talked about, because this video is a lot going after YouTubers who talk about shit and then fans that eat that up. So those YouTubers, whatever, they're garbage, they're trash, throw them in the bin. We don't care about them.
Motherfuckers belong with the Power Rangers fall as acrobatic. Getting a little cute cartoon about the gay space rocks. Motherfuckers belong with the Power Rangers fall as acrobatics. Like, just a little more mental gymnastics and it's gonna be an Olympic event. Bottom line is the whole toxic fandom point is moot and long dead in the water. The show itself ain't perfect, but it also ain't a dumpster fire. What show's perfect besides Voltron? Name one show that's perfect. Yeah, see, there aren't any. Besides Lanta, I mean Voltron. Of course the show has some issues, but what show doesn't? But look at any. Besides Lanta, I mean Voltron. Of course
Did the teleportation actually make the plants vanish?
Show has some issues, but what show doesn't?
Yep, drop in quality.
For representation, and of course the show has some issues, but what show doesn't? But look at how much is done for representation and education in kids cartoons. Again, let me specify, because some people love to go Steven Universe and do it first, like it's a race and list off some obscure 80s anime as the first place contender. Steven Universe is the first of its kind in its own lane as a kids cartoon to show these themes and represent them in a respectful way to kids. But somebody had to pay the way to give these executives the balls to approve it. If anything, I find it kind of dumb that it ain't cool to give shows props for objectively cool things, especially when it's done a lot for the whole community. But cool to
I agree with that 100%.
Again, let me specify, because some people love to go Steven Universe and do it first, like it's a race and list off some obscure 80s anime as the first place contender. Steven Universe teams give these for objectively cool things, especially when it's done a lot for the whole community. But nah, blah blah Tumblr kids cringe, blah blah blah. It's still 2016 and the show is bad. I'm not a garbage person for liking Steven Universe. You, on the other hand, are a shepherd for herding a shit ton of sheep to hate on it though. For more on that Steven Universe. You, on the other hand, are a shepherd for herding a shit ton of sheep to hate on it though. For more on that situation a little later.
You're a shepherd for herding a shit ton of sheep. I don't think anybody would objectify to being a shepherd because they get to control the sheep. And he who controls the sheep controls the world. But on a more realistic note, yeah, I agree with that. Like, liking Steven Universe doesn't make you bad, but not liking it also doesn't make you bad. Like, we're allowed to not like the show. People are allowed to not like it. But again, not liking it and viscerally going after it are two different things. Like, wildly different things. I have a fan in my audience that viscerally hates Miraculous. Like, she doesn't like anything about it, and every time I make a video she's there commenting about it, but she doesn't go after the creator. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't even watch the show. She just watches my videos to know what's happening about the show because she doesn't want to watch the show, and she's supporting me. Now, would that person be considered a garbage human being? Would that person be considered evil? No. Who is she hurting? She doesn't like the show and she expresses her opinions of why she doesn't like the show, and she clearly states more power to anybody who can find enjoyment in that show. And I feel that's something people kind of forget. Somebody is allowed to fucking hate a show, and they don't need to give you a reason or an explanation as to why. Somebody can hate Steven Universe and not have to explain to you why they hate it. They just hate it. Okay, they hate it. Are they doing anything wrong aside from hating it? Because it feels like you're saying it's illegal to hate the show. Like, unless you have a reason, and there is no valid reason, you can't hate the show. Yes, the show is bad, but what show isn't bad? You cannot hate this show. Am I making sense? If that's not what you're trying to say, I'm sorry, but that feels like what you're trying to say. But again, I'm stupid. I might be reading this whole thing incredibly wrong.
Joe or scene in the show is bad. I'm not a garbage pro. Tumblr kids create cool things. Especially anything, I find it kind of dumb that it ain't cool to give shows props for objectively cool things.
Yeah, we should actually praise the show for doing a lot of things that it was the first in doing. It was the first in bringing up these subjects for a young audience, but again, that's kind of mute because outside of America, Steven Universe just is not airing. Like, we still haven't even gotten Steven Universe Future. Hell, we haven't even gotten Steven Universe Finale. I think Steven Universe in my side of the country stopped airing middle of season 4, so we didn't get the wedding, we didn't get any gay shit. Like, we didn't. So yeah, Steven Universe has advanced, but it has only advanced in like first world countries like America. The rest of the world, we're pretty much in the dark, so Steven Universe might as well not have done shit, because it, so far to a lot of people, it didn't do shit. My siblings have no idea what's going on in the show except for what I show them, and that's because I know where to look for these episodes. A lot of people I know, they'd call me and say, hey, is that show still on? There are a lot of people who tell me they thought Steven Universe was cancelled. So it's kind of sad, really, because the country where it happened in the US is already progressive and didn't need this show to be more progressive. The parts it needed to be seen in were not seen in, so we're just wasting everyone's time at this point.
But nah, blah blah, Tumblr kids cringe, blah blah blah. It's still 2016 and the show is bad. I'm not a garbage person for liking Steven Universe. You, on the other hand, are a shepherd for herding a shit ton of sheep to hate on it, though. But more on that situation.
I don't mind being a shepherd, though.
Joey's the shit. Be sure to go subscribe
and
check out his video.
Real with you.
As I said in the beginning, there are good criticisms towards Steven Universe. Check out his video.
I actually couldn't tell the difference between their voices for a second.
Joey's the shit. Be sure to go subscribe and check out his video.
That was terrifying.
As I said in the beginning, there are good criticisms towards Steven Universe, and there are criticisms that are in bad faith to make the show and its team look like Satan incarnate.
I agree with that statement.
So let's jump into the good.
Okay.
Now, let me make it clear, I'm not gonna sit and list every single thing I didn't enjoy about Steven Universe, partially because I'd like to review this. I'm gonna sit and list every single thing.
That's so funny.
Now, let me make it clear, I'm not gonna sit and list every single thing I didn't
I'm not
enjoy
gonna
about
say
Steven
everything
Universe,
I didn't like about
partially
it.
because I'd like to review the series as a whole. But I am going to run through some critiques that, from my perspective, actually make a good point. It's just not for me. Okay, yeah, this isn't really a criticism, but let me just get this one out of the way. Steven Universe just may not be your thing, and you just never felt compelled to watch it. And just because you don't care for a show doesn't mean you're some awful person. I've gotten a handful of friends into Steven Universe over the years who have watched it from start to finish, and I also have friends who peeped the show through me and thought it was fine, but had no desire to pursue the series further. And that's fine. You can actively watch animation and not watch Steven Universe off the simple merit that you don't care for it. You've seen clips, maybe even watched a few episodes, you know what it's all about, but it's just not your style. That's fine. Same thing with just gradually losing interest in the show. One thing Steven Universe was known for,
at least that I can wholeheartedly agree with.
But it's just not your style. That's fine. Same thing with just gradually losing interest in the show. One thing Steven Universe was known for while it was running was the frequent hiatuses in between episodes, especially towards the end of the series. When you have months at a time to be exposed to other interests, I'm not going to fault you for getting hooked onto something else.
I agree with everything he's saying, but Gravity Falls had longer hiatuses than Steven Universe could ever dream of, and people still didn't fall off that show. I think there was a time where there was, what, a 10-11 month wait between like episodes. Like, I can't remember if it was the finale of season 2, whether it was the last episode or the second to the last episode, but I remember waiting for some of this shit. It was It was not funny.
The Steven-only perspective. One of the most common criticisms directed at Steven Universe as a whole is the decision for every single episode to be told from Steven's perspective. He has to either be present
I don't
for
really
everything,
mind
or
this
important
criticism
information is presented
because I don't think it's good criticism. I don't even think it's valid. It's like, the show is named Steven Universe, so let it be that. There's so many other shows with the name of a character in the show, and it has to be miraculous fandom. Do you have any idea how we're tired of following Marinette? God damn it. I never got tired of following Steven, I'll be honest. Other shows that come to mind, well, there's Powerpuff Girls, but that's not one person. I think The Life and Times of Juniper Lee, American Dragon, Samurai Jack, they all follow one character, and I guess maybe the difference is, oh, this show has a more larger cast than, I could say, The Loud House, but it follows different sisters, so there's that. But again, Steven Universe has a larger cast, so it would help it follow in other characters, but it is a show named Steven Universe, so there's nothing wrong with it following Steven Universe. So I don't agree with that criticism, actually.
Steven and the audience by extension as a flashback. Now this isn't a poor narrative perspective. He has to either be present for everything, or important information is presented to Steven and the audience by extension as a flashback. Now this isn't a poor narrative decision, but rather one that they never really challenge and push to its absolute limits.
Yeah, because it even doesn't have to be there.
Does sacrifice some ideas that otherwise would emerge in a story like this. Let's take redemption arcs, for example, a recurring element of the show. While it's heartwarming to watch Steven spark a positive breakthrough in a closed-minded individual, it would have been cool to see a redemption occur without his physical presence. What if Steven's words managed to have an effect on a homeworld gem after their encounter? One episode sees the crystal gems clashing with said foe, Steven trying to explain the crystal gem philosophy, but it's only in another episode without Steven, where the duties of this gem are the focus, that we begin to see this gem slowly shift the perspective and defect from homeworld as a result
that
of
would be
Steven's
interesting
speech from episodes prior. We aren't able to get moments like that, and with a show that has a large pool of characters on top of a high-stakes story like Steven Universe, it's important to make sure this world feels alive and that these characters exist when Steven isn't hanging around them.
No, I don't agree with that.
Which the epilogue series Steven Universe Future does exist. Steven Universe, it's important to make sure this world feels alive and that these characters exist when Steven isn't hanging around them.
Steven's
which the
show,
epilogue
though.
series Steven Universe Future does shed light on.
But when did this happen? I didn't see any of this.
That's because it was private.
Everyone likes moving parts in the story.
Yeah, it was private. I guess I don't remember my live reaction to that. I might have had different opinions, but yeah, Steven doesn't have to be there for everything. We, the audience, don't have to have our hands held. I hope that's what I said in that video, or otherwise I'm gonna sound like a very huge hypocrite, but that ain't anything new. Ooh, the boys.
Keeping tabs on various plot threads and seeing how everyone likes moving parts in the story. Keeping tabs on various plot
Super
threads
racist.
and seeing how it all comes together. The problem with the
Aw,
Steven
they
only
didn't show Best
perspective
Girl.
is not that this isn't possible. The problem is that Steven becomes less of an active character as the story progresses. There are many ways
Yeah, a lot of times we don't feel like main characters in our own stories of life, so I don't blame Steven either.
to experiment.
And Steven is objectively surrounded by more interesting characters, but Steven as the person can't just stop existing and follow somebody for the rest of their life. So yeah, I'm finally understanding things with the show
Steven
now.
only perspective beyond relaying information as a flashback, like his ability
God,
to be
that
linked with
pink diamond.
individuals he has a relationship with, allowing him to either wander into their mind or straight within the Steven only perspective of character as the story progresses. There are many ways to experiment with the Steven only perspective beyond relaying information as a flashback, like ways to experiment with the Steven only perspective beyond relaying information as a flashback, like his ability to be linked with individuals he has a relationship with, allowing him to either wander into their mind, ability to
I'm so
experiment
bored.
with the Steven only
Like, I'm so
perspective
tired. I'm
beyond
sorry.
relaying information as a flashback, like his ability to be linked with individuals he has a relationship with, allowing him to either wander into their mind or straight up possess their body, even from across the galaxy. Steven just gradually pushes off most of his problems until he's presented with something he can't ignore or until it bites him in the ass. And that's not a writing flaw, that's just his character. People say Steven was out of character in future, or that they really needed to show and not tell. But the entire original series is showing and not telling. But that's a bit of a tangent for another time. The story starts to stretch itself out. Steven Universe was a show that believed patience is a virtue, introducing interesting concepts and storylines, but bringing them back into play at a later point in the story.
And then the finale just literally spit in the fandom's face.
In the first 3 seasons, this wasn't really a problem because a lot of the non-story episodes were either zany and hilarious to compensate for the wait, or focused on a different element of the series that I wanted to learn more about.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, those were the best seasons. Season 4 and 5. I miss when I would sit down and rewatch Steven Universe episodes, but again, the later episodes kind of just destroyed the beginning episodes. I think I said this in a stream or something, but the whole thing with Spinel kind of just destroyed the whole series, because now you can't watch anything Steven Universe without thinking, oh, Spinel was left on the floating rock, oh, Spinel this, Spinel that. And it's really sad because I had so many episodes that I just liked to sit down and watch, but now I can't do that because I know what's gonna happen later, or I know some of these things are inconsequential because White Diamond got redeemed in like 30 seconds. Was it 45? I can't remember. So many things, but again, this is a criticism or whatever that I have no claim in, because I do not understand pacing. I never understood that thing where reviewers will say, oh, the timing, the pacing, but I don't understand what you guys are talking about when you say that, so I cannot critique. I can just say what I feel about an episode, and I don't really notice when an episode feels long or drawn out. The only time I can ever say I noticed pacing or anything was with the 2017 Justice League, where I was bored out of my mind and could not pay attention, or the last installment of Hunger Games, Mocking? No, not Mockingjay, not Catching Fire, not what was the last one? I can't remember, and Fangirl TVC is gonna kill me. The last one, the part 2 of it, that Hunger Games, even that movie too was kind of boring. So I guess those ones you could say the pacings were slow, but I recently watched the 4 hours Justice League, the true Justice League movie, and I was not bored at any point, so pacing really doesn't apply to me.
However, as we get closer to the end of that big overarching story, episodes that aren't game changers feel like they're just building up to moments that writers wanted to check off a list rather than being a fun, adventurous series. There's still heart, but it doesn't shine as much as it did before when run-of-the-mill episodes are much more mundane. It just feels like the story is dragging its feet because everyone knows this is meant to be the calm before the storm.
Or it could just have been the show doing the show. I can't believe I'm defending this point, but yeah, I just like playing devil's advocate. Ignore me. But yeah, the show had, if you say the show likes to point out patience is a virtue, maybe they're just trying to show that here, like, yeah, things may be coming to an end, but his life is not coming to an end. Mundane things will still pop up even though the world is ending, and it's not Steven's fault that he will go and do those mundane things. Yes, you could blame the writers for writing the mundane things, but I guess it's in line with Steven's life that, hey, even though the world is ending, I still got shit to do at home. And I think I even said it, I like the Beach City episodes. I was one of the few people that loved the Beach City episodes. I loved them so much.
Not only that, but things that take place over multiple episodes feel like they could probably have happened in 1 or 2 episodes instead. Take the Beat City episodes after the opening arc of Season 5. I'm not sure if we needed an episode of just the election, then an episode of Lapis leaving the barn, then an episode about the gems trying to get Steven to open up
Speak
about Homeworld,
for your damn self.
Just sad about Connie, then Amethyst and Steven trying to cheer Peridot up.
That was actually a good episode. That was a good episode too. This was a good episode.
It feels like a lot of that ground could have been covered with a double-length episode just covering the status quo changes in Beat City, where we can cover the election, Sadie joining a band, and Steven's falling out with Connie. And then we can get an episode of the
even
Gems
though I like the whole Steven falling out with Connie and their reunion and how it kind of like tackles friendships and stuff like that, and it was so cute. Yeah, Connie had no right to be that angry. I'm just saying.
Then Peridot and Lapis included, only for me. And then we can get an episode of the Gems trying to talk to Steven, Peridot and Lapis included, only for Lapis to fly off to Homeworld once Steven finally opens up. It just feels like we had this long stretch of episodes so Steven would not have a way to access Line to visit Lars. It feels like we had this long stretch of episodes so Steven would not have a way to access Line to visit Lars. And so the crew can buy time to iron out the details of the final story arc later in that season. Now listen, Steven Universe is a very demanding show to work on. In season 4 is when they found out they'd have to wrap up the original series way earlier than intended. So I imagine because they really
honestly, if I was a showrunner, I don't know how shows run, but you know, they'll tell you, hey, you only have these seasons left. Out of spite, I'd leave everything on a cliffhanger and wait for like the fandom to demand more, because again, Justice League, a bunch of people on the internet bullied creative execs into making what they want happen. And I'm sure, yeah, Rebecca didn't know if she had that kind of staying power, but her show is powerful. Literally, and then we had Future, which was like a kick in the nuts. If they had known they would have gotten Future, I'm pretty sure they would have like resolved things or end everything on a bad ending for season 5. And then season 6 would kind of build everything from there. That would have been cool. That's just me personally. I'm a spiteful person, so if I have a show and the creators were like, or the execs were like, hey, you have less time to finish what you want to finish, I'm like, okay, don't worry, I got you. Oh god, maybe that's why I don't have my own show. I'm too spiteful.
Plot points they had to tackle earlier than intended. So I imagine because they really wanted to figure out major plot points they had to tackle much sooner than they expected, not only could less episodes have been put into the smaller slice of life episodes, but they also could have decided it'd be better to stretch out multiple character developments over multiple episodes. Even if said
that's the opposite of better. Stretching out more character development over more episodes because you have less time? Hello? The show already has a hiatus problem. Use that to your advantage to get more shows. Sorry, I keep bringing up Miraculous, but have you seen Miraculous scheduling? We got, what, episode 6 of season 4 before the first episode. This show is all over the place, so Steve Universe had no excuse.
Developments are decided it'd be better. Only could less episodes have been put into the smaller slice of life episodes, but they also could have decided it'd be better to stretch out multiple character developments over multiple episodes, even if said developments are a result of the same event. I can't confirm any of this, but hey, it at least makes a little bit of sense to me. If these episodes are more like seasons 2 and 3's tiny episodes and found a way to incorporate these meaningful character moments through more exciting stories, I think they'd be remembered more fondly. But speaking of characters, the characters are underutilized. I can only assume this is a budget thing, considering how a lot of fan-favorite characters only appear roughly the same amount of times per season. But Steven Universe has a lot of awesome characters that don't get nearly as much screen time or involvement in the story as they should.
That's everything with the story.
A good example of this would be Peridot, who actually appears quite a bit in season 2 leading up to her redemption. But after the cluster is taken care of and everything happens at the Barn of the Rubies,
fine with
Lapis just kind of become decorations in the main story. We'll get an
because
episode
they're no
of them
longer
at the barn
important.
here and there. Sometimes, if we're lucky, main story. We'll get an episode of them at the barn here and there. Sometimes, if we're lucky, she'll even tag along on a smaller adventure. They're conveniently running out of the story until it's time to have all the crystal gems together because, well, look at them as an absolute unit.
They're not really crystal gems, but whatever.
And seeing all the gems together really does provide a cool factor. And I don't know about you, but I like when my cartoons are cool. But as soon as that moment's over, they're back to being a prop. There are so many interesting gems that we never get to catch up with, or are just never
God,
fully
I love
explored.
Lapis's new outfit.
These are the biggest flaws of Steven Universe that we never get to catch up. Moment's over, they're back to being a prop. There are so many interesting gems that we never get to catch up with, or are just never fully explored. These are the biggest flaws of Steven Universe that do stick out to fans. It does drag it down a notch. The show does drop the ball with these concepts, and I do believe that these could affect overall enjoyment depending on the viewer, especially when hiatuses left us with a
Oh, sorry, I actually zoned out again. What happened?
But there are so many interesting gems that we never get to catch up with.
Oops. I'm sorry, I actually just zoned out.
The main story. We'll get an episode of them at the barn here and there. Sometimes, if we're lucky, she'll even tag along on a smaller adventure. They're conveniently running out of the story until it's time to have all the crystal gems together because, well, look at them as an absolute unit. Seeing all the gems together really does provide a cool factor. And I don't know about you, but I like when my cartoons are cool. But as soon as that moment's over, they're back to being a prop. There are so many interesting gems that we never get to catch up with, or are just never fully explored. These are the biggest flaws of Steven Universe that do stick out to fans. It does drag it down a notch.
Those are the biggest flaws of Steven Universe, and half of them you kind of discredit them. So even though you say they're good criticisms, you kind of bring points up to negate the good criticisms that they are mute. But
The show does drop.
and those are the only good criticisms? Excuse me? I'm too tired to bring up anyone. It's late at night. I'm just doing this because I'm bored, remember? But God, I wish I was more awake to accurately review this. But I'm sure somebody in my comments is having timestamps and a whole notepad, hell, a Word document open just addressing everything that was being said. So to that person, I will pin your comment. Thank you for doing my work for me.
Drop the ball with these concepts, and I do believe the biggest flaws of Steven Universe that do stick out to fans. It does drag it down a notch. The show does drop the ball with these concepts, and I do believe that these could affect overall enjoyment depending on the viewer, especially when hiatuses left us with the same episodes to rewatch over and over again. The cracks are much more prone to be like overall and do stick out to fans. It does drag it down a notch. The show does drop the ball with these concepts, and I do believe that these could affect overall enjoyment depending on the viewer, especially when hiatuses left us with the same episodes to rewatch over and over again. The cracks are much more prone to be exposed. That being said, though, there are hiatuses left us with the same episodes to rewatch over and over again. The cracks are much more prone to be exposed. That being said, though, there are still bad criticisms, and I truly do not think I could cover them all. But again, I'll hit with some of the biggest.
Yeah, true. But again, it affects the overall enjoyment of the show. These good criticisms were just things in the show that most shows can, like most of them. The Steven Universe thing, where it's from his perspective, it's mute because it's his show. It's an opinion whether you feel the show should follow Steven Universe or not. What other criticism was there? The whole, too many characters, doesn't follow them. Hell, even Gravity Falls, people wanted to follow Wendy more. Some people wanted to follow Seuss more. So, again, and that even had a smaller cast of characters. Hell, I wanted more Pacifica after her and Dipper kind of became friendly and she stopped bullying Mabel. So, Steven Universe having even a bigger cast of characters without them being utilized more, that's just a thing. So, I guess those were the only 3 points. Yeah. But things being from Steven's perspective. Episodes, the timing of things, which, yeah, I can agree with that one. And then the cast of characters. Did he literally just use 7 minutes to explain 3 points? Okay, what are the bad criticisms?
The crew doesn't use model sheets. The art is bad.
Oh my
draw.
So this criticism was just founded off.
I knew the fucking criticism would come up. Who cares? The models are off. Yes, fine. Who cares? I hate the fact that the people who bring up this criticism care so much, and the people who are against this criticism care so much. It's a fucking cartoon. I even tweeted about this recently, about the channel Alex Myers talking about like cartoon styles and everything, and how him as an animator, he prefers to stretch he prefers to stretch proportions and stuff because he feels like shows following models are boring. And this is such a non-issue. I don't even know whose side I'm on. I just fucking hate this argument.
Of a lie, one that misses one of the most
Model sheets. The art is bad and they can't draw.
So this criticism is just
The crew doesn't use model sheets. The art is bad and they can't draw.
So this criticism is just founded off of a lie, one that misses one of the most basic elements of animation. If you work on an animated production, you have model sheets. Case in point, what you're seeing on screen is Steven Universe model sheets. And I've also seen some people argue, oh, well, you know, they only made a model sheet for the first episode. Again, you don't know what you're talking about. Not only can model sheets be reused, but they are reused in every single animated property you see, and they're not really used for storyboarders to follow. In fact, model sheets are typically made after an episode is storyboarded. Also, if there weren't any model sheets, there wouldn't be any fucking color in the show, because this scene, that scene, they don't use the normal colors of the show. So how do they figure out what colors to use? By the color stylist taking the model sheets and adjusting the colors to reflect the scene. Model sheets, props, effects, they are essential to any
Why are you
animation
yelling
process,
at me,
and
sir?
Steven Universe is no exception, because when these episodes are shipped to be animated overseas, the animators rely on the model sheets and the storyboards alongside special character poses, you know, the purpose of a character designer, in order to properly illustrate and animate the episode at hand. The only reason why the internet's able to cherry pick screenshots from Steven Universe and say, oh my god, look at the inconsistencies, is because of a particular animation studio. Steven Universe is animated overseas in Korea by both Sunman and Rough Draft
Oh
Studios.
yeah, I've heard this
something
argument
people largely
before.
ignore, especially when they're cherry picking. Almost every single out of context screenshot is taken from a Rough Draft episode. And the problem is, not only does Rough Draft not have the best line art in episodes, but a lot of their work throughout the series misinterprets what Rebecca Sugar is going for. Rebecca Sugar wanted the art styles of the individual storyboarders to shine through in the finished animation. Sunman knows how to do this very well. The characters have pretty good proportions, but a border style really shines through in facial expressions. And of course, character acting. But Rough Draft tries to be a little too faithful to the storyboards, and generally, it just feels like they take a lot of shortcuts. And of course, character acting. But Rough Draft tries to be a little too faithful to the storyboards, and generally it just feels like they take a lot of shortcuts, which is weird because this doesn't happen on other networks, just mainly with Cartoon Network shows. And to further my point, I present some character poses from the recent Steven Universe art book End of an Era. Look at this Jasper, eyelashes and all. Now look at her in the final episode by Rough Draft. Look at everyone trying to restrain Kaiju Steven with a group hug. Take note of Spinell's elongated arms. Now look at the final episode and Spinell's broken arms. A lot of images that take shots at Steven Universe's art usually list their examples directly from Rough Draft episodes, or if it's a comparison, they still end up using Rough Draft. And I'm not saying anything about anyone, but it's really
I really
not hard to
like
see
the
that
color
if it's a
scheme of
comparison,
this
they still end up
episode
using Rough
where
Draft. And I'm
everything is muted and stuff.
not saying anything about anyone, but it's
But
really
I
not hard
don't
to see the
have
difference between
much
Sunman
to
and Rough
say in
Draft.
this
So
point.
for there to be so many critiques,
It's like their mistakes, fine. There's so many cartoons that the Dragon Prince season 1, I hated the Dragon Prince season 1 and 2, but season 3 changed my opinion completely. But the things in season 1 were broken in the Dragon Prince, but you don't see people crucifying the show for
the
that.
show's art by people who really want
People love the Dragon Prince, God have mercy. But yeah, and now I love it too. But again, just because of season
you
3.
to think they know what they're saying. How could they not pick up on this one simple fact? I'm not saying anything though. Also, the Crewniverse is pretty fucking talented. A lot of their art fucking rules. Pick up on this one simple fact. I'm not saying anything though. Also, the Crewniverse is pretty fucking talented. A lot of their art fucking rules. One simple fact. I'm not saying anything though. Also, the Crewniverse is pretty fucking talented. A lot of their art fucking rules.
Steven Universe doesn't have writers. The storyboarders write everything, and that's why it's lazy and
A lot of these things just sound like points people make on Twitter, and then they picked it up and said, hey, we're gonna make a video about this, because all of these don't even sound like valid criticism, both the good and the bad. They're just stupid opinions people have on the internet.
terrible.
Again, people really want you to think they know what they're talking
Stupid
about.
opinions.
When literally just looking at the credits will inform you that the show does have writers. However, Steven Universe, just like Adventure Time, just like regular show, is a board-driven show rather than a script-driven show. This means while yes, the storyboarders do make up a bulk of the dialogue, the writers themselves still plan out the episodes, produce outlines that inform storyboarders how an episode should go down,
Garnet
what happens
thick.
from scene to scene. And then, after the storyboarders do work their magic, they go back and punch up the dialogue or make any other corrections. This is the case
Well,
with
it
almost
said
any
story by, not written by, so the people who do the story actually do the writing, and then the borders are different. Again, not educated enough to make an informed decision and or opinion about this topic of discussion, but I hate this argument anyway.
And while the writing being terrible or lazy is subjective, there's so much in this show that you can only pick up on rewatch. Think that take back from the very beginning.
Wait, so the hand wasn't here to snatch up humans for a human zoo?
And while foreshadowing and Easter eggs alone,
Hey. I pointed that out. About like Ronaldo. Oh my god, the Roundtable are stealing my points. I'm a sue. Just to preface, that was a joke.
does not make a show good when there's clearly
Wait, so the hand wasn't here to snatch up humans for a human zoo?
And while foreshadowing and Easter eggs alone does not make a show good, when there's clearly an extraordinary amount of thought and effort put into a show story, planting seeds for things that wouldn't be paid off
Well,
until years later from the very beginning,
true.
clearly an extraordinary amount of
But I'm sorry. Even that point is kind of bullshit because you're saying, oh, this thing was foreshadowed. So I'm an amateur writer. I write Wattpad fan fictions, and I have a way of bringing up things that happen in the past in the future, and then people going, oh my god, is that what happened? Because yes, I had a vague idea about it or something, and there's such a thing as bullshitting your way through something. Fake it till you make it, I always say. There's so many things in Steven Universe that just happened and there's no resolution, so it's very easy for the Crewniverse in the future to pick one thing and give a resolution for it. Yes, it works in that sense, but realistically speaking, we never saw the human zoo again after when it was first introduced, and that was the only time we saw the diamonds. So you can argue, yes, it was made as a way for the diamonds to be introduced, so it was pre-planned, but Blue Diamond could have easily just kidnapped Greg and said, oh, he'll be the one remaining human I would save. But then the human zoo was added as an afterthought. Again, I'm not saying that's what happened. Please don't come for me. I'm just saying fake it till you make it is a thing that humanity is pretty good at doing. Not saying the Crewniverse did it. Again. Because y'all motherfuckers are just deaf sometimes.
Thought and effort put into a show story. Planting seeds for things that wouldn't be paid off until years later from the very beginning. I just can't call that lazy.
The social commentary is
That's literally fan fiction, writing something that will be paid off years later.
terrible. Fusion is sex, and the humans.
From the very beginning, I just can't call that lazy.
The social commentary is terrible. Fusion is sex, and the human zoo is presented as a good thing.
What? First off, fusion isn't
Terrible. Fusion.
that wouldn't be
Okay. I'm actually done with this. I'm bored, I'm tired, and this is no longer fun for me.
paid off until
I
years
wanna
later
get
from
whose
the
voice
very
this is.
beginning. I just can't call that lazy.
The social commentary is terrible.
This sounds like a voice I know, or maybe he just slowed down his voice, but yeah. I will not be watching anymore. I'm sorry. Like I said, this is no longer fun for me. I knew I wasn't going to be able to watch everything in one sitting. I should have probably put everything on a faster speed from the beginning, but no. I'm not even sure if this video will see the light of day, but honest to God, I'm done. I am done. I'm sorry. I cannot continue. Not happening. I'm looking for that whole weirdly made crystal clear logo. I wanted to pause on that. But I cannot continue watching this. The points, everything about it is just bad. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. I knew this whole thing was gonna be terrible from the beginning. I just didn't know how much. And what's the point of sitting down and watching something? Like I said, I don't like watching things I don't personally enjoy. And the only time I can continue watching something is already when I'm invested. Like, miraculous, but I still like it for whatever reason. But with this video, it's kind of like, I might finish it, I might not. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe if you guys pester me enough, I might continue watching it and react to the rest. But for now, what I've seen, this is just a dumb video made by dumb guys talking about dumb people about a dumb subject. The dumb I mean is not an insult. I'm just saying whatever comes to mind. Like, have you been so tired that you end up being drunk? That's what I am like now. Like, I feel like I'm drunk on tiredness, and I'm fighting to keep my language PG, because again, I don't want to offend anybody. No hate towards Kevin, no hate towards Joe. You guys are awesome, but this video is asinine and should not have even existed. But more power to you. You made it. You had your opinions. You wanted to state them to the world, and you did. I personally think this whole thing is shit and garbage, and I hate you. I'm joking about some things, but I'm mostly joking. We all have opinions. I have opinions on the internet that people don't give a shit about, and this is an opinion you have on the internet that I don't give a shit about. The beauty of human nature. I'm still gonna leave my like on the video because, again, that's just the kind of person I am, but I am done. I'm done. Pack it up, boys. This video might not see the light of day. I want to say, but yeah, did you guys enjoy it? But I don't think you enjoyed this. This video is trash, and I hate it. And God have mercy. Oh, I'm tired. But yeah, thanks for so much for clicking to watch me suffer. It's one of your favorite pastimes, I'm sure. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. I hope you had a wonderful day. And about with that being said, this is TVC. This was so fucking stupid. This was TVC. Mwah. Signing out. So very stupid.